I'm going to put us into a conference call, so if there's other people there, I don't bug them talking on voice. So I'm going to pass out the first landmark for the Rose Theater Opera House. No, it's not the button I wanted. I think that's all of you. So as you get the landmark, you can start heading over there. Just wait for me when we get there, and we'll start looking around. Is there anyone here I didn't add to the call? Obviously, you wouldn't be able to hear me if I did. I might have a phantom, I don't know. Also, if you see anyone ask in the class group or ends up being a little late, just send me a TP, and I'll get added to the conference when we can. So this is an example of like a, say, Victorian era sort of theater, slash Broadway style theater, slash fancy multi-level theater. It's big, it's ornate, and it's big, which I know I said already, but it is big. So if you walk in here, you can see. I think they do actual shows here. They got a TV set up on stage right now, so they must have shown a movie here or something. It's a public place, so. If you want to check out the mezzanine or upper balcony, there are ramps, I believe, that go up there. So feel free to, no, they're stairs, not ramps. So feel free to explore if you want. And once you look, I'll also show you, if you want to see how to get on stage without jumping, I'll show you the backstage entrance. There's also another smaller performance space next door. Yeah, I don't know if anything's blocked off right now or not. So just take a look around, because this is at the next place we're going to go to. I'm going to have you kind of compare it a bit. Yeah, it's actually pretty huge. It's spread across 4 sims. If you want to see how to get on stage without having to jump, follow me. There's also another performance space next door that's more for like concerts. If you head back this way, it's across a sim line, I believe, yeah. Well, it's a big stage, but they don't have a lot of off-stage space back here, unfortunately, which is a typical problem of SL stages. That's the thing, you're not supposed to know where the ghost is. I'll tell you this, the ghost is not Niels. So if you actually find your way on stage, I want to point out something before we go to the next place. So something with this stage to keep note of is that it's enclosed. If they want to close it off from the audience, they got a curtain, just like the one at HKE. That's all I'm going to say for now. So the next theater we're actually going to take a look at is going to be a little bit different. So we did a little talking about some Shakespeare stuff in the last couple of classes. Does anyone know the theater that Shakespeare performed a lot of his plays in? It'd be even darker in a real theater. In fact, this has like a brown stage. Theaters tend to have black floors. It tends to be painted matte black, and that's so light doesn't reflect off them much. And yeah, just ignore Kimmy losing her body. It's okay. Yes, actually it did burn down at one point. Well, that's where we're going next. I'm going to let Kimmy relog, and then I will pass out the landmark to all of you. She's fine. She's looking around, I think. I'll make sure she gets the LM to the next place when Kimmy gets back. Could be crashing too. Good guess, but no. Also, there's a file here where I should add to the call. Nope, not Gemini. Good guess, though. Yep, you got a body again. No more out-of-body experiences for you, at least for now. Hi, Peppa and Val. She might just be a little spooky, but I don't think she's a ghost yet. I'll meet you there. If anyone didn't get it, just say something in the group chat. It wasn't this bad when I was here earlier, but it's probably just everyone TPing in. So this is the original Globe Theatre, as it was in London when Shakespeare performed in it. So in some sense, it's very similar to the theatre we were just in, but in some senses, it's very different. First couple of big differences should be very obvious. Yes, the stage is significantly different. It's open. They have no real way of closing it off. No. There's backstage space, mind you. I don't know how representative this building is of how much it actually was or wasn't. But, yeah. Well, no seated audience anyway. They could have had standing. They could have had people standing, or it could have been something where they just put seats out for certain things. Yeah, it's Citrus Sun at midday. It'll be a little easier to see. One other big difference, and I'm going to give you a hint. Look up. Yeah, there's no roof. Now, that leads. That is a. If it rains, there's probably no show. No, there never was a roof, I don't think. It could. Yeah, sometimes they probably would still do it anyway. Because they might have had the ability to put something over it too. So I know some outdoor stages and stuff had that ability. It's got an interesting history, this place too. But there's a second reason for it having an open roof like that. It's called to let light in. I mean, obviously they could like put, candles and stuff here to light stuff, but why bother when you have the sun? Yeah, and I think the place eventually burnt down anyway, didn't it? So it's been a little while since I read the history of it, but more or less, Shakespeare and his company of actors were performing plays at this one place in London, but they kind of got kicked out. They were like renting the place, or leasing the place, or leasing the land, or something. But the landlord, the person who owned the land, kind of kicked them out. But I think it was found that like they still owned the building or something. Yeah, something like I don't even think it had anything to do with land. I just think he wanted to use it for something. The person who owned the land wanted to use it for something else. But I think it was found that they still like owned the building that was there or something. So they got new land somehow. I forget right now, and they moved the building at night. They tore it down and rebuilt it. Effectively. I saw Piper, yeah. But if you want to read a little bit more about the history of the globe, there's a little bit here on its Wikipedia article. Not too much, but there's a little bit there. There's a modern version of it that opened in 1997. Not at the exact same site, but close to it. Although it's technically the third one to be called the Globe. That sounds right, Carla. Like I said, it's been a little while since I read about it, but it's like it was something to do with licensing. Yeah. So there's been 3 globes, technically. The original one, which was built in 1599 by Shakespeare's play company, and was burnt down and was destroyed by fire in 1613. And the second was built in 1614, but got closed in 1642, and was pulled down in 1644 to 45. So the actual original globes were only there for about 45 years. So if you want to take a look around, there is 1, 2, 3 levels of seating here. Like in the other theater we're in, they have much smaller, narrower staircases to get up it. You can also take a look around the stage area. There's also stairs there that lead up to that second level, which was probably used for things like Romeo and Juliet. I added her, Carla. But did she get in? Was your sound muted? Revolt, trust me, Val, I've done worse. No worries, Lottie. I've had times where I was talking to, I walked up to a couple friends, was talking on voice with one of them, and the other person was in voice the entire time, but I had them turned down from school. And I didn't realize for about 20 minutes. Okay, so since you just got here, Lottie, this is a recreation of the theater Shakespeare performed in the 1500s called The Globe. This is actually also we're also on a sim that in this area is a recreation of Tudor period London. There's a bunch of different time areas in this. You can actually go back to a central point and go see some other areas too at some point if you want. There's a bunch of different ones. I think there's a role play sim here for Berlin, like I think around World War II. You can also go to like the 1950s, 1920s, and a couple other periods that I can't think of right now. But it's a really cool area. I know my mom has taken her class to a couple areas I went here before. Yep. If you were in her class, I think in May or June, you would have gone here. Yep. You can check out the rest of the theater, look, see how backstage worked, see how you can get up to the balconies, and then we'll be heading someplace fun, but I'm going to give you some options. If you have any questions about this place, feel free to ask, or anything about either theater. I'd honestly love to be able to get to perform in a place like this. It's unusual, it's different. Let's just do like lighting or sound in here. It would be kind of fun. It was definitely unusual. The one thing that yes, Niels. And one thing I might find be a particular challenge, so is if they are using like this entire lower area to perform, you're performing to people all around you. I want to say it's just for display, but I honestly don't know. You bring up an interesting point there, Gemini, because while that is genuinely a true statement, there are actually some forms of theater where it is impossible to keep your back from the audience at all times. It would be cool. This is actually a really nice stage. Let's do some small stuff. Should do Shakespeare at school sometime.
Hi, everybody.
And the biggest example, if you've ever heard of theater in the round, or a concert in the round, or anything in the round, basically, if you're not familiar with that term, it means there's a stage in the middle, and the audience is completely around them. And obviously, at some point, you could have your back to someone. Yep, this is the globe, actually, and we are actually in. If you look outside, the sim has in this area a recreation of Tudor period London. So, anyone want to take a guess why this actually closed when it closed finally in the 1600s? In the 1600s? Nope. Not, well, he might have been dead by then, but that wasn't the reason. He died in 1616, around the time of the second. Well, I wish it was something that simple. Well, not necessarily simple, but he died a couple years after the second globe was built. But it was the same reason why most theaters got closed. I can definitely say with 98% certainty it was not because of vampires. Brigida got it. They closed down a lot of theaters in London in that time frame for religious reasons. And because it got closed, it got torn down. And yep, I see her. There is a globe that is open. It's not the original one. They built a new recreation of it that opened in 1997, called Shakespeare's Globe. It's about 750 feet or 230 meters from the original site. It is the third theater to be called the Globe, though, of this style. And I mean, they actually, from what I was reading, they don't even know how big this was originally. They have they have approximate ideas, but they don't have, actual dimensions or anything. So, about where we're going to go next is someplace fun. Well, one of a few places. So, this is a really good build, too, I have to say. But, yeah, it's very fun. Might not necessarily be the exact place that I'm giving a hint to, but it could be. Can anyone think of something fun in real life that has a lot to do with theater, a lot to do with performance, and basically the entire time you're there are people performing? And if you want to go, Niels, go for it. But yes, Kimmy got it right. So Disney World, Disneyland, etc. Everyone who works there are referred to as cast members because everyone is on stage, basically. In fact, it's even to the point where when you see them, it's considered on-stage space, and when they're back in the crew-only areas or cast-member-only areas, it's considered off-stage. In fact, it is even called off-stage space or off-stage areas. So we could go to one of the Disney Sims, or we could go to the Back to the Future ride. We could go to Magic Land, Scare's Magic Kingdom. We could go to a different one that has a version of Haunted Mansion ride. We don't have time to do them all, Gemini. Or we could, next term I am planning on taking us to a Halloween ride, assuming it's still open because of Halloween coming up. So we won't go there today. And the reason we won't go there today is because as it gets closer to Halloween, they add stuff into it that's not there the rest of the year. I've only been to the one in Florida. I haven't been to Disney Paris. I want to go, though. Yeah, it's a 45-minute drive. It's kind of easy. So the options are Sarah's Magic Kingdom, Magic Land, or we could start off at a Haunted Mansion ride at one that's neither. Let's see if they've actually finished opening a ride that they've been planning on opening for a long time. I believe that was Sarah's Magic Kingdom, because I was there with her. They've actually added a new ride there since we were last there, if you guys want to go there and try that one out. I'll pass out the landmark if you don't have it. If you already have it, you can just head on over, but I will pass out a landmark. I think there's anyone around here who's not part of the class or related to someone in the class. So I'll meet you there, and we'll go try out the new ride first. This might be one of the few instances where a theme park is run by a kid, because Sarah who runs this is a kid. Oh, kid Av, like all you. So if everyone's made it here, which I think so, looks like it. We're going to, I'll give you a moment to res in. Once you res in, we're going to start heading down this way, towards me. I'll assume you've res in if you've managed to walk over to me, or at least enough so you can see where I am. That works too. In fact, if you can at least see where I am to head this way, you probably should, and you can, as you get closer to the ride, we're going to go on first to help res it in faster. If you haven't res in, we're going to end up going down the main road here, and it's all the way down on the right. It is a, not exact recreation of, but a heavily influenced one by the original version of Test Track at Epcot. It is also, if I'm not mistaken, and I'd have to double check on one ride, the fastest ride at Disney World. Yep, I can actually confirm that number now. It peaks at just... It is the fastest one at Disney World, actually. It gets up to... this is faster than Rock and Roller Coaster. This is faster than any of the other roller coasters there. This gets up to 65 miles per hour, or approximately 105 kilometers per hour. Rock and Roller Coaster, which I think is the second fastest, peaks at like 56, 57. Okay, so as you come in, I forget how many people can sit in a vehicle at once. But as you come in and are resing, you come here, you want to set your sim to either midday or midnight. I actually encourage midnight, but that's me. And when you're ready, whoever's up here first, click the blue platform. It'll res a vehicle, and then 2 or 3 can sit in yes. Everyone's back, so let's head on over. Okay, so when you get in here, click the sign. There's a green sign here that says stop. You want to click above it to get the HUD and attach the HUD so that it'll start preloading stuff for you. So don't touch the door until we all get there. So otherwise, not everyone might make it in.
Okay. Ding dong. Ding dong.
Looks like Pepper and Val might be AFK.
Ding dong. Ding dong. Ding dong. Ding dong. Ding dong.
We'll head in a moment.
Ding dong.
So that is it for today. We're actually going to head back to school. Don't forget, registration for next term is open. There's a lot going on next month. There's quite a lot. If you haven't seen the schedule yet, make sure you grab it out of the box, either by the kiosks or by the front desk of the school. But for now, we are going to head back to school. Yep, registration is open. Started last night. You're welcome, Jenny. Glad you had fun. I hope everyone had fun today. Hope everyone had a fun term, and I look forward to seeing you next month.